Let's talk now about a young man in New Hampshire who's facing 21 years in prison for reporting on police brutality. Adam, or Ademo Mueller, was unable to talk to us today since he's in prison right now awaiting trial in a case that all started after he posted this video on his website, copblock.org.
See, this is why I'm taping this right here.
No,
see this right here? This is why I'm taping that. Get out of here.
Don't talk to her like that. Hey!
Get out of the way.
This video was shot at a Manchester, New Hampshire high school and shows a 17-year-old boy being lifted from his seat in the school cafeteria by a school police officer and face slammed into a table. It was recorded by a fellow student and then given to Mueller, who then apparently interviewed police and two school officials, recorded those interviews without the other party's consent. He then posted part of those interviews on his website along with this video, and he's now been charged with 3 felony counts of wiretapping. After being charged with that, he awaits trial. And Pete Eyre joins me now from copblock.org. Hey, Pete, let's start with the latest with Adam, or Ademo as he likes to be known. What's the latest with his case?
Ademo had jury selection this past Monday in Manchester, and he is slated to begin trial next Monday, August 13th at Hillsborough Superior Court. We're hoping to have a full court there, packed with a lot of supporters. We've been doing outreach about jury nullification, and it's been getting a lot of good media, so hopefully at least one of the 12 on his jury will act on their conscience or with logic and make the right decision.
Ademo's facing 21 years for 3 felony counts of wiretapping. I know New Hampshire is one of 12 states that require two-party consent. The law is the law, of course, and it's supposed to serve the best interest of the public. I'm wondering, Pete, if you think that's the case here.
I sure don't. To me, this is Ademo. He's a journalist, and he sought to hold accountable this public official, Darren Murphy, the West High School liaison officer who slammed the student on the table. He sought to hold him accountable because after the incident, the student was suspended and later expelled. They banned copblock.org from the school. They denied students the ability to pass out literature, and they essentially tried to cover for their colleague instead of if they really looked out for the student's best interests as they purport to do, they would have held Murphy accountable as he was the aggressor in this situation. So Ademo did what any good journalist would do. He attempted to follow up and ask questions and make the situation more transparent to everybody else.
I know copblock.org has created an online outlet to release information about police that, doesn't usually make it to the mainstream media. We've seen many cases as of late of police brutality from Anaheim to Appalachia. However, where is the line between, being a concerned citizen and being a vigilante, or is there?
I personally don't actually like the phrase or term citizen. To me, it denotes that you're sort of a subject or a slave to somebody else. I've never signed a contract with anybody giving them the authority to dictate my life. But for me, CopBlock is it's a decentralized project. There's a lot of people involved, as you mentioned, but it's an outlet for me to try to inject the idea of self-ownership. And so it's not, I don't see the line between being a citizen or vigilante. I just think we each own ourselves, and if we each conduct ourselves as we want to be treated in relationships, then that's the best sort of safest, most prosperous society to live in. And right now, some folks with badges act as if they have extra rights, and those individuals are getting away with it because people allow them to do that. So what Ademo's doing and what folks involved with CopBlock try to do is just point out, hey, you don't have extra rights because you have a badge, and using a camera as an objective tool to document those actions and share them with others is very powerful.
I guess I'm wondering what made you guys decide to start this website. Was it just seeing case after case of police brutality? Was there a case in particular that sort of sparked you to do this?
Ademo and I both came from slightly different backgrounds. He himself was harassed by some local police up in a small town named Jackson, Wisconsin, where he grew up, and he wasn't finding any recourse through their official channels, and started posting some of his interactions online to, again, win in the court of public opinion. I actually went to school for law enforcement and saw that I initially wanted to change things for the better from the inside, but saw that, that really wasn't possible. And now I'm to the point where I think every good or service, including policing, could better be provided through consensual interactions. So it's just a forum for us to share ideas, again, about self-ownership and really strike the root, as Thoreau would say, instead of just dealing with issues as they come up, just really try to nail down and figure out why they do happen. And to me, it comes down to incentives. Currently, police suffer from perverse incentives. And it's not to say there's not good officers, but I would say those individuals, if they provide a good service that people would voluntarily pay for, that would be facilitated through consensual interactions, not through this top-down, one-size-fits-all system we currently have.
It's really interesting, too, because this is a situation that really differs state to state. We put up a map of the 12 states where you need two-party consent, but I know we just saw in Boston, for example, the city of Boston agreed to pay a man there $170,000 in damages in legal fees, that to settle a civil rights lawsuit from a 2007 felony arrest for videotaping police. He was watching these police on camera roughing up a suspect. I guess I'm wondering, Pete, I mean, what is it going to take for police to simply say, you know, instead of trying to make more strict laws, why don't we just try not to be so brutal in the wrong circumstances?
Well, I agree. It's a good goal to have, but I would say, what is the best means to get there? And it's not through an internal review board or a citizen's complaint or even filing a complaint with the department itself. It's just for each individual to realize that nobody else has the right to dictate or regulate their lives as long as they're not negatively infringing on somebody else's rights. And so that really speaks to the issue of, again, policing today and how it's the perverse incentives on which its actors operate. And the differences in the one or two party consent you mentioned, that to me just shows how arbitrary I differentiate between law and legislation, law being natural, common, or God's law, and legislation being man-made and arbitrary. So here in New Hampshire, in the Shire, myself and Adamo and a number of others have had our cameras and other filming devices taken from us, whereas you see in other departments, for example, Oakland PD has a video out with their PR person that says, "We never dream of taking someone's property. We encourage them to film us." And so it's just like, you and I know murder's wrong. We don't not murder someone because someone put it on a piece of paper. We just generally, people know how to treat each other and for the most part interact. And to have these distinctions based on arbitrary political boundaries, to me, just underscores the fact that it is, you know, just words on paper. And in Adamo's case, for example, he didn't hurt anybody, and the real aggressor is right now being protected by the system. Certainly
an important discussion to have, especially in this age of cell phone video cameras and so much out there. Appreciate having you on the show. Pete Eyre with copblock.org.